compassion was always part of our education.
Right.
Like moral science, we used to study value education is there nowadays. So what different we need to add to the system?
We always think that, we need to teach children something.
Yeah.
But the fact is, as a teacher, as an educator, we need to teach ourselves first.
Will AI be able to manage 40-50 set of students at the same time?
Yeah.
And then again, completion of syllabus and everything will be taken care?
Each child will have a small tablet or an iPad right in
Its
front
own
of him
AI
or her. Yeah. Because in future, these gadgets will not be that costly as they are now. There are governments which are investing, especially in India, when it comes to bringing AI tools. So each child will have a personalized system right in, and that personalized system will be adaptable to the child's level of learning.
इंडियन माइंडसेट जो होता है कि मतलब गेमर बनेगा हमारा बच्चा और हर गेमर वो उस लेवल तक पहुंचेगा कि वो इतना अर्न कर सके, स्टेबिलिटी, एक सा हमारा एक कल्चरल माइंडसेट है।
तो ये इंडियन माइंडसेट बिल्कुल ठीक है, लेकिन जो गेमिंग माइंडसेट है वो ग्लोबल माइंडसेट है, क्योंकि ये इंडिया में तो पैदा नहीं हुआ, गूगल भी इंडिया में नहीं पैदा हुआ, एआई भी इंडिया में नहीं पैदा हुआ, सारा चीज तो आप वेस्ट से ला रहे हैं, तो आपको ग्लोबल माइंडसेट तो बनाना पड़ेगा।
So why do you believe that GCD is important in nowadays times, and how can school inculcate that?
GCD is not just important, it's imperative now. It should be the compulsory part of every school system around the world.
Every great change begins with a conversation, and today we begin one that truly matters. Behind every visionary institution is a leader who believes that learning can shape the destiny of nations. And today, I have the privilege of speaking with one such leader. Our guest today is Dr. Shishir Srivastava, an inspiring voice in global education and leadership. He is the founder of Unifusion and the managing editor of academic magazine by True Observers India. He has over 25 years of experience in education, leadership, international relations, and the school advisory. He has worked closely with the institutions like CMS and many global educators to bring transformative learning opportunities to students. Sir, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you, Neha ji. Good evening.
Thank you so much for gracing this, sir.
Yeah. My pleasure and honor, and it's a privilege to do a podcast with you.
Pleasure is all ours, sir.
Thank you.
So what inspired your shift from school to Unifusion?
Yeah. So my journey in CMS began in January 2000, 25 years ago. I started my career working with a great educator, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, and I had a great learning with him. So I left CMS as the head of international relations from the CMS head office in January 2025 this year. And during the span of 25 years, I had great learning opportunities traveling around the world, organizing conferences of chief justices, bringing career counseling to CMS students. It's the world's largest school with now over 60,000 students. So we created a lot of good opportunities for students. So after Dr. Jagdish Gandhi passed away in 2024, I was in a contemplation mode for almost a year that, I was contemplating what course my life will take henceforth. So I thought whatever learnings I have got, especially the socio-emotional learning working with kids, my experience in global education, going around to more than 30 countries, and experiencing, universal bodies like United Nations, UNESCO, working with them closely. I thought, why shouldn't I bring this to the great Indian education system and reach out to more schools? So with this vision, I started Unifusion, and we organized a conclave called the Global Educators Conclave in April in Hotel Taj. And thereafter, a Green Earth Award and many such events we have been organizing, and we will continue to do that. Recently, we took educators to Singapore. About 20 plus educators went with us. So this is all to inspire, and of course, global citizenship education happens to be one of the key forte that I educate children with, empower them with key skills for the 21st century. Yeah.
So why do you believe that GCD is important in nowadays times, and how can school inculcate that?
See, Neha ji, I would say that GCD is not just important, it's imperative now. It should be the compulsory part of every school system around the world. The reason being, like we had 17 SDGs, the Sustainable Development
Yes.
Goals, to combat climate action. The great climate catastrophe which our Earth will perhaps face in next 5 to 10 years, we are unprepared for it as humanity. The change in global climate, with temperatures rising up to average of 2 degrees, has been unprecedented. It is happening in the last ice age that we humanity had experienced, which was perhaps about 12,000 years ago. Since then, such a sporadic rise in temperature has been experienced in last 30 to 40 years, with the advent of private cars, industries, and carbon footprint rising. So, to do that, we need to prepare this generation with a mindset that is global. Whatever small actions or big actions we are taking in our daily lives, that has to be a lifestyle for the environment, because whatever you may do, whatever you may practice, being an educator or being an industrialist or working individually as a proprietor, we cannot be aloof from the environment. It's a very thin layer over the earth. So until unless we care for Mother Earth, it is only then Mother Earth will take care of us. So
But
it's very
what is the
imperative.
role of the schools in this? I mean, how can schools
Yeah.
and being an educator, like, how do you think that, we can teach to our students and until and unless it is part of the course?
Yes. Yeah. It's a very good question. This is one thing I have been advocating in schools while going around and talking to students, talking to principals, educators, and even on my YouTube and a podcast like this. What has happened? There has been a shift since 2012 to 2024 in last 12 years. In the year 2000, the United Nations decided on 8 Millennium Development Goals. And they were the goals to eradicate poverty, to eradicate hunger. But 5 years passed. In 2005, they realized that those 8 goals were not sufficient. So in 2012, when Ban Ki-moon was the United Nations Secretary General, they again contemplated that. They revisited the drawing board and they said that we must have 17 goals. So instead of 8, they increased the number again
Yes.
by 9 more goals. So now we have 17 SDG goals. The great problem is who remembers more than 5 goals. On an average person, like
Absolutely.
17 goals. Like being an educator, we have mastered. Like, but the problem is how quickly and closely can we associate with these goals. So let's say the number one goal in SDG is, we should have no poverty. But I think that goal is important, but it should be changed to creating more wealth and affluence for people. The second goal is zero hunger. Now, there can't be zero hunger. Every day you will feel hungry. So, the solution is to make ourselves abundant and give ourselves sufficient food and resources and supply instead of putting this money into wars. So, there has to be an integration of these goals. So, then UNESCO very lately realized that we should have one common goal, not to confuse people with 8 or 17 goals. So they have now one common goal, and that is GSAID. They said empower every citizen to think globally for the citizens, and it should be a movement by the citizens and for the global citizens. Now, the problem is that suppose I'm a citizen of India, I'll be called as an Indian citizen, right? Suppose somebody is a citizen of Germany or Nepal, they'll be called a citizen of Nepal or Germany.
Absolutely.
But problem is when you call somebody as a global citizen, when there is no global country,
Yeah.
I mean, we have Earth, but there is no governance for the world. United
Yes.
Nations is an intergovernmental agency. If US wants to attack, for example, any country, or for that matter, Israel wants to attack any country, or for that matter, Russia wants to attack any country, or North Korea wants to attack, let's say, South Korea, they are free to do that. The best thing that any body, international body can do, including the ICJ, is put sanctions, or NATO can put sanctions on other countries. But the will of world leaders cannot be changed or stopped. So until unless we have a mindset shift, right? There was recently a news anchor yesterday, I was hearing to her. So she was saying that, all these terrorists, they have been, very learned personalities, including Osama bin Laden. He was an engineer.
Yes.
And she was naming about 8 or 10 terrorists who are perhaps behind the Delhi bomb blast, which recently happened. They're very well educated. So, such
Of
kind of
course.
education without having a value system is of no use. We may come, you know, we can use the highest AI tools, but not have ethics with us. Then those AI tools will be of, putting an end to humanity. Like Albert Einstein, he was regretting over the last few years of his life why he gave such a formula, E is equal to mc square, that devastated the entire Hiroshima and Nagasaki cities. So we need to have people, citizens of the world, taking over as global positions who have got ethics within them, who have got compassion for humanity, who have got kindness, who feel for entire world as their own family, which fortunately in our Indian ethos, in our Indian value system, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam has been the ethos. And that's why UNESCO started and decided to establish such a center, which is known as Mahatma Gandhi International Education for Peace, MGIP. So UNESCO has instituted one body in Delhi, which takes care not just for India, but for 6 or 7 countries. And they are advocating GSET model, the Global Citizenship Education model. It also has SEL, the socio-emotional learning embedded in it. It also has the 17 SDGs also as a part of it. It also has ethical AI in it. So GSET is not just about talking that, I become a global citizen, I think for the entire world. No, no. It's about developing somebody as a total quality person who thinks, feels, hears for the world. And not only that, he takes action on behalf of not just citizens of his or her own country, but feels interconnected with the citizens of the entire world. So that is all about global citizenship education. So once we have the Gen Alpha, Gen Beta, and of course the Gen Z prepared with a global mindset, and they will grow up as good leaders. And believe me, that this generation, the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha, present ones, they are actually becoming global citizens. For them, boundaries do not exist, and for them, the old dogmas of caste, religion, they are beyond that. So I'm very happy that technology has reduced borders, and we as educators need to guide them with a good value system, so that once they go back home or once they go back to society after finishing their class 12, they work as compassionate global citizens for the environment, for people of not just their country, but for the entire world, and make this world a much more habitable, cleaner, sustainable place to live.
So, compassion was always part of our education.
Right.
Like moral science, we used to study value education is there nowadays. So, what different we need to add to the system?
We always think that we need to teach children something.
Yeah.
But the fact is, as a teacher, as an educator, we need to teach ourselves first. Now, suppose there's a math teacher. I'm just giving you an example in a class. Or let's say a history teacher. Or let's say there's a geography teacher. Now, suppose a child solves a math problem and that is not up to the mark. Let's say there are 6 steps, and at the 5th step, the child has created some problem. Now, most of the math teachers, they immediately scold the child. Now, that creates an emotional barrier. So that's why we have got socio-emotional learning. Teachers, be it a math teacher, a history teacher, suppose there's a historical fact, and instead of putting the year as 1842, or let's say 1543, the child makes a mistake and puts it as 1643. The immediate response of the history teacher has been in our system is they make the mockery of the child. A geography teacher, suppose they say, okay, what is the capital of, let's say, Morocco, right? And the child fails to answer that. So the immediate response should be to correct the child, to show where Morocco is, and give the child more experiential and hands-on learning. But mostly they create a barrier, they make fun, mockery. So this not only dissociates the children, their emotions with the subject, but also with the teacher. They never come back to respect teachers. So that has been happening with this kind of rote learning system for the last 40 years. And you will see most of the school don't get their alumni back in a good spirit, because somehow the teachers have created this barrier and shift. So UNESCO, realizing this problem, it introduced a curriculum within the GSET model, It is known as socio-emotional learning. They say you first associate with the child emotionally so that he is socially adaptable. You care for child's emotions. You don't scold him for small facts. Those facts can be discovered by Google. You neither need to correct or not, but you need to tell them, but in a polite way, in a humble way, in a compassionate way. You should feel like you should place yourself at the child's position. Maybe he or she had a bad day in a family or his family, and then they are coming, maybe they did miss the breakfast. So those things are much more important than teaching the subject alone.
Absolutely.
So this compassion is not just compassion. It combines both sympathy and empathy. Yes.
It is always said that the child learns more by observing than by when we teach him.
Right.
He'll not learn so much,
Right.
and he's learning by observing. So when the teacher reacts in a certain way, probably he's learning the same thing.
Right.
In future, if he faces the same problem, he'll also react the same way. So if we show the empathy at that point of time, so probably the child will also realize that, okay, this is how I have to react when things like this happen. So
Right.
gradually it will change and it will come into the system.
Right.
So-
Like I still remember, very good point you have made. I still remember how my class 5th teacher, and I still remember her name, and I hold her in high esteem, taught us division. Right. She explained it in a very, humorous way, light way to the kids. She had prepared the script. Like, suppose you have to borrow, a certain number in order to divide a small number than a larger number. So we still have those memories in our mind. So we need such kind of teachers who can go to the child's level. You may have done a BSc in maths, you may have done a PhD in mathematics or a higher number theory. But when you are teaching a class 5th or class 6th student, it's a beautiful quote, like you said. It says that don't teach me the way you would like to teach me the way I can learn. So it can be auditory learning. The child can listen to a sound. It could be a visual learning, and it could be both, and it could be hands-on and experiential learning also. So whichever way the child can learn, the teacher has to adapt himself or herself. And I know it's a huge challenge. We are the world's largest country.
Yes,
Population
that was
wise.
my next question.
So there is 30, 40, 50 children in a class, and it becomes very overwhelming. But still, now with the advent of AI tools, recently I was in Singapore. In next 3 to 5 years, you will see AI will be governing the teachers also, in a way that teachers will be dependent so much that 80% of their teaching skills will go to AI, because scientists in Korea, in Singapore, and in Japan, they have created high-level AI systems, which will be, so much attractive that the child will learn at ease. They are adaptable models. They can adapt to the child's, the level of IQ or the level of, intelligence the child has. They will quickly adapt. They will teach the child at that level immediately. So teachers will be dependent. Now, when that happens, there will be a better relation between the teacher and the child, because the teacher will only have to care about the socio-emotional learning, the intelligence part, the information part, the knowledge part. AI will take care. So there has to be an amalgam of both, the value system as well as what AI is bringing in.
So will AI be able to manage 40, 50 set of students at the same time?
Yeah.
And then again, completion of syllabus and everything will be taken care?
Exactly. See, each child will have, a small tablet or an iPad right in
Its
front
own
of him
AI
or her.
thing.
Yeah. Because in future, these gadgets will not be that costly as they are now. Like now, suppose a tablet costs 20,000 rupees. In future, it might just cost 5,000 or 10,000 rupees. Compared to the annual fees of the child, it will be a small amount usually. And then government will also pour in money, because there are governments which are investing, especially in India, when it comes to bringing AI tools. So each child will have a personalized system right in, and that personalized system will be adaptable to the child's level of learning. So there will be one chapter going on, but at the same time, the level at each child, be it 40, 50, 100 kids at the same time, even more, they will be able to relate to what subject they are learning at the level at which they are understanding. So this is the beauty of AI in future.
Okay, and how much time span is expected, so when all these
It's
things?
immediate. When I went to the EduTech conference in Asia recently,
Yes.
it was on 5th and 6th November in Singapore. There were 200 exhibitors, and out of them, about 40 exhibitors have all these tools ready with them. Only problem is there's a curriculum, like we have a CBSE curriculum, ICSE curriculum, Cambridge curriculum, or for that matter, some part of culture is also involved. But that also within 6 months they are saying they can make it adaptable, because the basic system of the how AI contemplates things, reacts, is same. So only set of instructions have to be changed for a country specific audience. So
Okay.
they are 100% ready. In next, you will see from 1 year to 3 year, just like computers came with, like earlier, to afford a computer lab was a privilege. Now every school has a computer lab. Almost every classroom has a smart classroom. So
Yes.
gradually it will happen.
You recently recognized educators for Green Earth Awards. So, what qualities so you see in the educators?
Right. See, the whole idea about the Green Earth Award was there are, educators, schools, which are going beyond books, beyond classrooms, to go the extra mile to, actually work for the environment. So the idea was to inspire such educators and more educators, and we are going to do it in multiple cities now. We are going to take it to 28 cities in India starting December. So next award event is in Jaipur, for example. We are also going to take it to the Kawal cities. That is, the Kawal is K is for Kanpur, A for Allahabad, V is for Varanasi,
Okay.
A again for Agra, and L Lucknow we have already done. So we are going to even go to all the cities in Uttar Pradesh, because the idea is not just about giving awards. The idea is to inspire educators as well as their students. So we'll also have awards in different categories, even for students who are taking initiatives. So a whole range of categories has been planned, and the magazine, Academica magazine, in the month of December, we are coming up with a full page announcement how these categories will be judged, and we are inviting projects from schools. What are they doing to make Earth more sustainable, to make their schools more sustainable? Whether they are planting trees, whether they are having solar panels, whether they are investing in rainwater harvesting, or even if they are doing a simple act like saying no to plastics in their campuses. So, all of that and a set of questions, if they answer it correctly, we'll have an audit done, and then we'll be awarding them with the Green Earth Award.
Okay. So, do you think that like CBSE should inculcate these things and should ask the schools to do? CBSE does ask,
Yes,
CBSE is asking that
right,
you plant more trees and send the pictures, and everything is being done in the schools.
right.
So, is it from the same? Do you think that the initiative from CBSE and your initiative is somewhere like when you ask the school to bring something to you with the pictures of what are your initiatives, so it coincides with the CBSE thing?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. CBSE has asked all the schools to make
Yes,
eco clubs, for example.
absolutely.
So they already have it, right? But there is no kind of parameter judgment system. There is definitely an award which is, they are having green Olympiads, for example, at the
Yes.
national level. But that's only limited to a few cities or a few privileged schools. But we want to make it a people's movement. So recently we had a sustainability educator from Germany. His name is Stefan Vogt, good friend of mine for almost 20 years now. So he came to India, and we started a new earth movement. So we are asking educators, including educators like you, to join that, take this movement forward, because it is not just two people's movement, it's a people's movement. We are sailing on the same boat. We have only one spaceship, and that is Earth. But in order to sustain this spaceship, we need four Earths as of now. In 2004, we needed 2.5 Earths to sustain our life. So Earth is becoming highly unsustainable with the kind of clothes that we go on to buy,
Yes.
the kind of investments we make, the kind of irresponsible lives we all human beings, including me, are living. Right? For example, I should not be wearing this coat. I can be, in a normal, shirt, for example. But there are social norms that we have to adapt.
Absolutely.
So ideally, like, I mean, truly speaking, we should be living like Mahatma Gandhi. But it's very difficult. It's very
Yes.
difficult because there are so many social norms. But fact is, when a climate catastrophe will come, people will be forced to break down these social norms. And that's not very far. It's just 5 years from now. Like we will say that, how is this possible? I'll just take you 5 years in the hindsight. In February 2020, nobody presumed that COVID will come. In March 2020, COVID came. In April, just 2 months later, during the lockdown, everybody was wearing mask, and that was the new social now. Washing hands 6 times, 7 times, 12 times a day was a new normal thing, and everybody was trying to adapt to the new normal. So, what new normal will be, we'll only come to know in
After
next
10 years.
5 to 10 years. God forbids, but the fact is, it's all predicted. There'll be floods, there'll be cloud bursts, there'll be massive migration of population because of the climate change that is going to happen. A lot of, wildfires, tsunamis. So what we saw in 2025, right from Californian fires to floods in Punjab, to floods in Pakistan, or for that matter, the rising temperatures in May and June this year, so much so that the heat wave continued till October, and again there were rains. So this unpredictable
Unpredictable.
weather experiences that we are having, they'll become more sporadic in nature. They'll become more violent also, and had cloudburst which even wiped off villages after villages in Himachal and Uttarakhand these summers. So if such things happen, what kind of lifestyle will be forced? And when I press the button of my car to start my engine, I'm just hoping and praying that it does not cause another cloudburst in somewhere in some hill, because every time I'm adding to the carbon footprint that I already created. You see, one car, any car in this planet, emits 6 tons of carbon dioxide in a year. Now, when I was traveling in metro in Delhi, they have a beautiful system. Suppose you go from place A to place B and you have got a printed ticket. It shows you have saved 12 kgs of carbon dioxide. So, reducing that kind of carbon footprint by using public transportation. Now, everybody is not at ease. I would have easily taken a taxi. But then, when I think for the environment, I think it's better to walk or to use the public transport. So, at least as a person, as an individual, and as a global citizen, I'm taking, even if it is a very small action, I believe that a small action also can bring a big change. Yeah.
यस सर, आपने अभी बताया कि वैल्यूज़ जो होती हैं बच्चे में वो इन्फ्लुएंस करती हैं उनके माइंडसेट को भी और उनके बिहेवियर को भी।
जी।
तो सर स्कूल का क्या रोल है मतलब इस बारे में कि मतलब वो कैसे उनका माइंडसेट चेंज माइंड शिफ्ट, जैसे आप बोलते हैं हमेशा कि उनका जो है अभी माइंडसेट चेंज होना पड़ेगा बच्चों का, कुछ भी नया लाने के लिए और कुछ भी आगे प्रोग्रेस करने के लिए। तो स्कूल का सर इसमें क्या रोल हो सकता है?
देखिए, स्कूल को एक एनवायरनमेंट ऐसा क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा, क्लाइमेट ऑफ इनकरेजमेंट, a climate of inspiration, a climate that automatically teaches values. उसके लिए मैं छोटे से एग्जांपल्स दूं कि गुड कोटेशंस विच इंस्पायर चिल्ड्रन, विच गिव देम गुड वैल्यूज़, वो आपको स्कूल के चारों तरफ लगा देने चाहिए, इंक्लूडिंग क्लासरूम्स, सो दैट वेन एवर द चाइल्ड इज़ अलोन और वॉकिंग थ्रू द कॉरिडोर्स ऑफ द स्कूल, वो बच्चा देखे उनको, उनसे इंस्पायर हो। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैं एक छोटा सा कोटेशन दूँ कि द प्राइज ऑफ ग्रेटनेस इज़ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी। अब ये कोटेशन मैंने कहीं पढ़ा, मेरे को आज तक याद है, मैंने स्कूल में ही पढ़ा था अपने। तो अगर आपको ग्रेट बनना है, अगर आपको कुछ भी अच्छा करना है लाइफ में, तो आप रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लीजिए, ठीक है। जैसे एक कोटेशन है कि इफ़ यू वांट टू बी लव्ड एंड लाइक्ड बाय एवरीवन, हेल्प अदर्स। तो ये छोटा सा ही बात है कि आप हेल्पिंग एटीट्यूड रखिए, तो देखिए दूसरे आपको ऑटोमेटिकली रिस्पेक्ट करेंगे, लाइक करेंगे। सो देयर आर सो मेनी कोटेशंस, आई मीन देयर आर कोटेशंस बाय स्वामी विवेकानंद, महात्मा गांधी, एल्बर्ट आइंस्टीन, मदर टेरेसा, ऑल ऑफ दीज शुड बी हंग अराउंड द स्कूल। पहली चीज़। दूसरी चीज़ है, मॉरल एजुकेशन इज़ नॉट द सोल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ मॉरल साइंस और मॉरल एजुकेटर जो भी आपके स्कूल में। इट इज़ द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ ईच एंड एवरी टीचर, ईच एंड एवरी पीएन, ईच एंड एवरी आया, जो भी आपके यहाँ जो क्लास 4th एम्प्लॉई है, फॉर दैट मैटर इवन द रिक्शा पुलर और द बस ड्राइवर, दे ऑल आर एजुकेटर्स ऑफ मोरालिटी। बच्चा खाली टीचर से नहीं सीखता या अपने क्लासमेट से नहीं सीखता, ठीक है, प्रिंसिपल इज द रोल मॉडल आइडियल, राइट, वाइस प्रिंसिपल इज द रोल मॉडल आइडियल, द क्लास टीचर इज एन आइडियल, बट बियॉन्ड दैट ऑल्सो, सो दिस काइंड ऑफ एथिक्स एजुकेशन में जो होनी चाहिए, देयर हैज़ टू बी अ कंपल्सरी क्लास एवरी वीक, इफ पॉसिबल एवरी डे, चाहे वो 10 ही मिनट का सत्संग हो, वो सबको करना चाहिए, एंड दैट शुड बी द स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट ऑफ द डे. सो प्रेयर असेंबलीज आर अ गुड पॉइंट. Then at different levels, we should, the principal and the school management should go on teaching. People say that you cannot teach ethics. तो मैं कहता हूँ ठीक है, अगर आप ethics नहीं सिखा सकते तो आप maths भी नहीं सिखा सकते. So everything is learnable, right? Suppose I have a set of ethics which are wrong, and I find out after experimenting that my behavior towards people or society was wrong. What do? I go back and I correct that system. I learn more good values or better values, and then I come back again. I perform. Then I see how my behavior is, influencing others. Is it actually affecting others? Is it creating a positive belief in others about me or not? Having got that feedback, I will say, okay, this is the right kind of values I should practice. तो फिर मैं अपने आप को करेक्ट करूँ. तो सबसे पहले तो सबको अपने आप को करेक्ट करने की ज़रूरत है, बिकॉज 99% वी आर आवरसेल्व्स आर रॉन्ग. और हम क्या करते हैं, बीइंग एन एजुकेटर, टीचर, प्रिंसिपल, हम सोचते हैं ये ठीक हो जाए तो दुनिया सुधर जाएगी. भैया पहले आप अपने आप को सुधारो. सी, देयर इज़ अ ब्यूटिफुल कोटेशन, इट सेज दैट अ टीचर विथ 20 years of experience may mean 1 year of wrong experience repeated 20 times. So हमें क्या करना है, we have to constantly improve ourselves, we have to improvise ourselves, we have to see whether the pattern that we are behaving. अगर 20 साल से हमारे बच्चे वापस एक भी एलुमनाई मुझसे मिलने नहीं आ रहा है, ये क्या कि सर आपने अच्छा पढ़ाया था या आपने जो 20 साल पहले बात कही थी, तो फिर तो मेरे अंदर बहुत बड़ी गड़बड़ है. लेकिन मैं देखता हूँ जब हम मिलते हैं अपने स्टूडेंट से, वो आते हैं कि सर आपने 20 साल पहले ये चीज़ सिखाई थी, आज भी मुझे याद है ग्लोबल सिटीजनशिप क्लास लिया था आपने, संडे सेमिनार लिए थे, तो मुझे बड़ी खुशी होती है. तो वो जो चीज़ें थी वो मैंने अडेप्ट करी, उनको और अच्छा करने की कोशिश की. सो मच सो कि जो वर्ल्ड सिटीजनशिप के क्लासेस या ग्लोबल सिटीजनशिप के क्लासेस हम लेते थे, नाउ आई एम डूइंग विद स्कूल्स अक्रॉस लखनऊ, and perhaps we'll be creating an AI tool with which we'll be taking it to 10 million students in by 2035. अगले 10 साल में मेरा खुद का ये पर्सनल मिशन है कि एटलीस्ट आई शुड बी एबल टू एम्पावर 10 million, 1 करोड़ बच्चों को, चाहे इंडिया में चाहे वर्ल्ड ओवर, हम एम्पावर करें with global citizenship education. So this is my personal kind of mission. So I think every educator can see what he or she is good at. अब मैं एक देखता हूँ लिंक्डइन पे बहुत अच्छी मैथ्स की टीचर हैं. She creates beautiful videos solving complex problems in a very simple way and a practical way. And she puts those on LinkedIn, and she has got more than 2 lakh followers. Similarly, I see a SDG teacher, Sustainable Development Goals teacher. She's also on LinkedIn. Whatever best practices are happening about sustainability, renewable energy, rethink, recycle, reuse, जो भी 4 hours हैं प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, उसके वो बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल लिंक्डइन पर आ रही. शी हैज़ गॉट 1 million followers. So teachers are only limiting themselves to classrooms. The entire world is a classroom. So we have to see this earth as a big school. We are both educators and we are co-learners with our learners. यानी कि स्टूडेंट्स के साथ हम लर्न करते जाएं, कॉन्स्टेंटली इवॉल्व करें. दिस इज द एज ऑफ ग्रेट लर्निंग. एलन टॉफलर सेड, the illiterates of 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write. वो illiterates नहीं होंगे जो पढ़ लिख नहीं सकते. The illiterates, जो अनपढ़ लोग रियल होंगे, the illiterates of the 21st century, this century will be the ones who cannot learn, unlearn and relearn. So कहने का मतलब है हमें constantly जो है काइजन फिलॉसफी अपनानी चाहिए. 1% improvement every single day, and whatever new thing is coming, we must try our hand. इफ़ नॉट पारंगत ना हो, कुशल ना बने, बहुत ज़्यादा स्किल्ड ना बने, लेकिन एटलीस्ट ट्राई तो करें.
सर, डू यू थिंक दैट लाइक एजुकेटर्स तो अपना काम कर रहे हैं, स्कूल में जाके पढ़ाते हैं, बट डू यू थिंक दैट पेरेंट्स ऑल्सो नीड टू बी एजुकेटेड अबाउट ऑल दिस?
ऑफ कोर्स यस. बिकॉज
टेक्नोलॉजी, लाइक अब पेरेंट्स देखेंगे रील और हम बच्चे से एक्सपेक्ट करें कि वो देखे SDG के वीडियोज़, तो वो सर थोड़ा सा मतलब पेरेंट्स का कितना इन्वॉल्वमेंट होना चाहिए सर, स्पेशली इफ़ आई टॉक अबाउट स्मॉल चिल्ड्रन. वो हमेशा कंप्लेन करते हैं कि बच्चे हम स्क्रीन टाइम ले रहे हैं, इवन द अटेंशन स्पैन ऑफ द चिल्ड्रन हैव गॉन डाउन, लाइक 15 सेकंड का, 30 सेकंड का, हम लोग उनको कोई इंस्ट्रक्शन देते हैं, उनको सिर्फ 15 सेकंड याद रहती है वो इंस्ट्रक्शन, देन अगेन दे आर बैक टू स्क्वायर वन. So like this, so these changes are also there in this generation.
Right.
So how, what do you
See,
think about
what
this?
you have said is 200% correct. Parents need to become leaders of their own children. They are the first leaders. Because कहते हैं ना, charity begins at home, so value system also begins at home. अब मैं आपको एग्जाम्पल देके बताता हूँ. I went to मतलब my larger family जो है, वहाँ गया तो मैंने देखा कि जो ग्रैंड मदर थी वो अपने पोते को समझा रही थी कि मोबाइल ना देखो, और उन्हीं का बेटा, यानी कि द सन्स फादर, सॉरी, ही वॉज हिमसेल्फ एनग्रॉस्ड इन द मोबाइल. तो पहले मैंने क्या किया, मैंने उसका मोबाइल ले लिया, फिर मैंने कहा अब आप इसको बताइए. सो द चाइल्ड ऑल्सो लेफ्ट द मोबाइल. उसके बाद जब मैंने मोबाइल उसका लिया, छोटे बच्चे का, तो दोनों का मोबाइल मैंने अपने पास रख लिया. मैंने कहा अब खाना खाइए, बात करिए दोनों लोग. सो कहने का मतलब है, समटाइम्स थिंग्स हैव टू बी फोर्स्ड एंड शोन टू पेरेंट्स ऑल्सो. आप छोटे बच्चों को तो हम बहुत जल्दी करेक्ट कर लेते हैं, एंड दे बिकम वेरी डिफेंसिव बिकॉज दे आर सीइंग दैट देयर लीडर, द पेरेंट्स, द ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स, दे आर नॉट फॉलोइंग what they are teaching. And teaching or learning is only done through examples. There is no other way you can lead or teach. टीचर खुद जो है वो क्लास में अच्छे कपड़े पहन के ना आए, and the teacher tells to the child that you must dress smartly. So I think that is the worst disaster that can ever happen to the child, because he will never believe a teacher. So whatever you want to teach to child, first see yourself in the mirror whether you are actually practicing it or not. It's a very difficult, I would say, proposition, because महात्मा गांधी को भी टाइम लग गया. महात्मा गांधी का एक इंसिडेंट से, his doctor told him that his wife is very ill and she should not be eating salt. तो महात्मा गांधी ने जो है कस्तूरबा जी को जाके कहा कि तुम नमक खाना बंद कर दो. तो कस्तूरबा जी बोली कि तुम नमक खाना छोड़ दो तो मैं भी छोड़ दूंगी. तो महात्मा गांधी 1 महीने कुछ बोले ही नहीं. फिर उसके बाद, फॉर नॉट इवन अ सिंगल डे इन दैट 1 month ही एट सॉल्ट. 1 महीने में उन्होंने एक भी दिन सॉल्ट नहीं खाया. जब 30वां दिन हो गया तब गए, कहते कस्तूरबा तुम नमक छोड़ दो, मैंने देखो 30 दिन से छोड़ रखा है. एंड शी लेफ्ट देम. तो कहने का मतलब है, चाहे वो हस्बैंड वाइफ का रिलेशन हो, चाहे फादर सन डुओ हो, चाहे ग्रैंड फादर ग्रैंड मदर का हो, पहले आप खुद प्रैक्टिस करिए.
Practice what you preach.
हाँ. So even with my own son, if I am wrong at times, I try not to correct him, because when I introspect, I say कि ये तो मैं खुद ही चीज़ नहीं कर रहा हूँ. तो उतना तो नहीं हो पाता कि प्रैक्टिस करूँ, लेकिन बट वट एवर आई डू प्रैक्टिस, वट एवर आई डू लर्न एंड वट एवर आई डू फाइंड इज वर्किंग फॉर मी, दैट फिर उसमें मेरा मतलब मैं गिव अप नहीं करता हूँ. फिर मैं कहता हूँ नहीं भाई ये चीज़ प्रैक्टिस, बिकॉज ही विल डेफिनेटली चेक, आई मीन रेजोनेट करेगा वो ना कि पापा ये प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं कि नहीं. सो इट्स अ डिफिकल्ट एथिकल डायलेमा, बट देन एवरी पेरेंट शुड एस्पायर टू गो थ्रू दिस डायलेमा, करेक्ट हिमसेल्फ और हरसेल्फ, एंड ओनली देन गो ऑन एडवोकेटिंग. और तब तक आपको कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है. आप 10 बार बोल दो कि जो है वो मोबाइल में गेम मत खेलो, ये खेलो, हो सकता है मोबाइल गेम खेलना है उसकी डेस्टिनी हो.
Yes, many children now want to become a YouTube gamer.
Yeah, they want to practice coding, they want, because it's the number 3 industry in the world. Animation is number 4, number 3 is gaming and coding. तो उसमें तो बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स हैं. तो आगे गेमिंग एक बहुत बड़ी इंडस्ट्री होगी, AI एक बहुत बड़ी, ऑलरेडी AI में देयर इज अ इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑफ $950 billion.
पर फिर सर वही इंडियन माइंडसेट जो होता है कि मतलब गेमर बनेगा हमारा बच्चा, और हर गेमर वो उस लेवल तक पहुंचेगा कि वो इतना अर्न कर सके, स्टेबिलिटी, एक सर हमारा एक कल्चरल माइंडसेट है.
तो ये इंडियन माइंडसेट बिल्कुल ठीक है, लेकिन जो गेमिंग माइंडसेट है वो ग्लोबल माइंडसेट है, क्योंकि ये इंडिया में तो पैदा नहीं हुआ. गूगल भी इंडिया में नहीं पैदा हुआ, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट भी इंडिया में नहीं पैदा हुआ, AI भी इंडिया में नहीं पैदा हुआ. तो सारा चीज़ तो आप वेस्ट से ला रहे हैं, तो आपको ग्लोबल माइंडसेट तो बनाना पड़ेगा. नाउ देयर इज़ नो वेस्टर्न माइंडसेट, देयर इज़ नो ईस्टर्न माइंडसेट, देयर इज़ ओनली वन माइंडसेट. द ईस्ट एंड वेस्ट आर कमिंग टुगेदर. द ईस्ट इज ईस्ट एंड वेस्ट इज वेस्ट, एंड नेवर द ट्वेन शैल मीट. बट I say that the east may remain east, the west may remain west, but now together they are making one global citizen. So जो आपका कल्चरल बेंड ऑफ माइंड है, वेदर इट्स ईस्टर्न माइंडसेट और वेस्टर्न माइंडसेट, ओरिएंटल हो ऑक्सीडेंटल हो, फैक्ट इज कि we also need to have one global mindset.
And we need to have global curriculum for that, sir.
Exactly, that's a good question. Yeah, it's a good thought, I would say. We must have a global curriculum which should have ethics in place first. बिकॉज ग्लोबल करिकुलम तो एआई भी बना के दे देगा, ठीक है. वील गेट rid of the IB, CBSE, ICSC, UP board, all the Cambridge board. We can get rid of them in future. Next 10 years में we will definitely have one global curriculum evolving. Because rule करेगा कौन? 80% will be driven by AI. 20%, yes, we'll have spirituality, our intuition, our creativity, the potential threats that we might have from AI, that will be definitely checked by human beings. And AI, I hope, will never be able to take over those. We will work with AI in a very efficient way. Just like आपको प्लेस ए टू प्लेस भी जाना है और आप पैदल चल के भी जा सकते हैं एंड कार से भी जा सकते हैं. अब अपनी कार के साथ वर्क ना करिए, सो यू माइट टेक 1 hour टू रीच प्लेस ए टू, लेकिन कार से आप 15 मिनट में पहुंच जाएंगे. सो व्हाट आई वांट टू से इज use AI as a tool to increase your efficiency, but do not be dependent on that so much so कि हम बिल्कुल वॉक करना ही भूल जाएं, कार से निकले ही ना कि वॉक करना भूल जाएं. सो वी नीड टू हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ सेंस कि when to use AI and when not to use AI, when to be free from AI, when to depend on AI.
And what about emotional intelligence, sir? Emotional intelligence will be there in the curriculum. Will we be able to teach children emotional intelligence, or it has to be like the values have to be inculcated similarly?
Right. It's a good question. I think emotional intelligence will come naturally because even to introduce AI, for example, we'll have to see the child is not born out of AI. The child is coming from a family. He or she may have some family problems, issues with parents, issue with peers, issues with, right from starting from his or her home to coming down to school to interacting with teachers. So kahin na kahin with, of course, friends, emotional dilemmas child के right from age, let's say 6 to age 18, 19, जब तक वो बच्चा हमारे साथ रहेगा तब तक वो होंगे ही होंगे. And the whole challenge of educators is to address that first before they start teaching him or her any subject, including AI tools. Because until unless you address the emotional kind of care for the child, he or she will not start learning. वो डिस्कनेक्टेड रहेगा. आपको कोई भी चीज़ पढ़नी होती है, फॉर दैट मैटर दिमाग में बिठानी होती है. इफ़ यू हैव टू ग्रास्प समथिंग, it takes 20 minutes at least to for the first 20 minutes for that thing to settle down, even if you are alone or in a classroom. So if that mind is in an emotional turmoil for any reason, how will the learning go inside? So that's why we have to have we have to adapt according to the emotional stage of the child, understand, and only happy children learn faster. So we have to make them as happy as possible. It may be a simple act of clapping in the classroom, applauding a child, appreciating each and every child for whatever unique gifts they have got. जो भी बच्चे की यूनिकनेस है उसको हमें कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि हम वो एड्रेस करें, उसको अप्रिशिएट करें जेन्युइनली, एंड वी शुड सेलिब्रेट ईच एंड एवरी चाइल्ड. हर बच्चा एक यूनिक गिफ्ट है. ही और शी इज़ अ यूनिक गिफ्ट ऑफ गॉड to humanity. So we have to endeavor to make every child good and smart before we make the child actually educated. Because if the child is good, smart, productive for the society, like you were giving an example of picking up litter from the classroom, हम बातें करें स्वच्छ भारत मिशन की और क्लासरूम को ही गंदा रखें. I think it's a very a sarcastic way of seeing how Swachh Bharat mission is not carried out. So we have to start with our home classrooms, and classrooms are the curators of destiny of the child.
Yes.
So वहीं से president, prime minister future के निकलेंगे, वहीं से global leaders निकलेंगे. So why not treat every child as if he or she is a future global leader of not just India but of the entire world. तो अगर हम उस mindset से child को देखेंगे, every child should be seen not as a $1 million customer but a $1 billion customer. इतना हम बच्चे को लोग कहेंगे सर पे चढ़ा रहे हैं. नहीं, जो जेन जी और जेन अल्फा है, अगर आप उनको रिस्पेक्ट नहीं करेंगे, दे विल नॉट होल्ड यू इन हाई स्टीम. दे आर 10 times more aware than we educators are. So we have to respect the kind of knowledge processing systems they have already got in their brain, how adaptable they are to technology. So our job as educators is to learn from them first. It might sound very offending to teachers and educators who are listening to this, But fact is, and I'm not only with Gen Z and Gen Alpha, I'm also with Gen X and the millennials. But fact is कि ये fact है, all research said and proven, that we have to learn from the younger generation, because they are actually ये साधु और उस श्रेणी के हैं जहाँ पे they are more evolved than us in many cases. कहते हैं children of this age will be wiser than the sages of the past. यानी कि ये जो 21st सेंचुरी आ गई है, स्पेशली आफ्टर 2020, जो कोविड चिल्ड्रन है, जो जेन बीटा आ रही है आपकी 2025 एंड बियॉन्ड, और जेन गामा, इनके ये जो इवॉल्व होके आ रहे हैं बच्चे, और मैंने इन बच्चों से इंटरेक्ट किया है, दे हैव अ डीपर इमोशनल अंडरस्टैंडिंग, अ डीपर एम्पैथी टूवर्ड्स द एनवायरनमेंट. और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि इनको पता है, जैसे बराक ओबामा ने कहा कि this generation, the Gen Z example, will be the worst sufferers of climate change, the first generation who will suffer the climate change, जो उसके impacts हैं. क्योंकि हमने तो ठीक ठाक एक लंबे टाइम पे रेनी सीजन, अब लेकिन इतना ज़्यादा, बट एंड परहैप्स दे विल बी द लास्ट, ही सेड. ये लास्ट जनरेशन भी हो सकती है. तो मेरा यहाँ कहना है, जब मैंने जेन अल्फा से इंटरेक्ट किया, तो आई हैव फाउंड दैट दे आर द फर्स्ट सस्टेनेबल जनरेशन. आप देखेंगे जो ये जेन अल्फा और जेन बीटा है, ये जब बड़े होंगे ये खुद चेक करेंगे. जैसे ग्रेटा थनबर्ग इज वन ऑफ द क्लासिक एग्जाम्पल. शी सेड to the elders, to the world leaders, how dare you, in the United Nations. So even if it was staged, a child going to UN saying that, how dare you spoil my environment, spoil my earth. She was sitting on every Friday, not going to school. Fridays for Future शुरू कर दिया movement. So इस टाइप के बच्चे आप देखेंगे बहुत ज़्यादा जो है वो मेन स्ट्रीम में आ जाएंगे.
They're very vocal about their
exactly
opinions.
And when I interview these children, I've got their interviews on my social media platforms, on my YouTube, on my Facebook. You will see the way they speak for the earth. You just have to trigger a spark कि आप global citizen हो, and you have to make this earth a better place. And thereon, फिर मैं उनके पास 1 महीने बाद गया, उन्हीं स्कूल्स में उन्हीं बच्चों से इंटरेक्ट करने, and they had a total transformation. They were talking about Africa, they were talking about issues in Europe.
Wonderful.
खाली वो उससे पहले इंडिया की बात कर रहे थे. So we have to give them an insight. कहते हैं ना कि एक जंगल जलाने के लिए आपको पूरा जंगल नहीं जलाना था, एक छोटी सी आप घास जला दीजिए कोने में, पूरा जंगल अपने आप जल जाए. So you have to ignite that kind of spark in them. This generation is very intelligent. This generation are the leaders of super, I would say, natural change. क्योंकि हम ये एक्सपीरियंस कर रहे हैं कि अर्थ इज गोइंग टू डाई डाउन. फैक्ट इज ये सस्टेनेबल जनरेशन है. जब ये फील्ड में उतरेंगी और ये AI टूल्स के साथ ट्री प्लांटेशन करेंगे, अमेजन में हो रहा है, एवरी डे 1 सिंगल रोबोट इज प्लांटिंग 10,000 ट्रीज. उनका टारगेट है 80,000 to 1 लाख सैपलिंग्स प्लांट करे वही रोबो. और ऐसे उन्होंने हज़ारों रोबोट्स लगा दिए अमेजन में. दे आर रीप्लांटिंग द अमेजन फॉरेस्ट, रिहेबिलिटेटिंग इट, reforesting it. So इस तरीके की जनरेशन जब आगे लीड करेगी with those kind of AI tools, they are very fast to make robots, they are very fast to adapt to the new technology. So they will definitely find solutions which we as elders are thinking कि वो होगा ही नहीं. Right.
And so you have interacted with the Indian students, you have also interacted with the students abroad. So what is the difference and the difference or similarity or both you see in them?
I think I will say abroad तो बहुत बड़ा टर्म है, तो मैं यूरोप पे ले जाता हूँ आपको. यूरोप में चिल्ड्रन आर वेरी इंडिपेंडेंट. I mean they are made independent at a very young age, even in US. So 13-14 के बाद they are treated as just like adults. Parents do not check them. उनको पता है 18 के बाद they will have their own lives. Here we are very protective about children. We care for them. So एक जो mindset shift है कि Indian students बहुत हद तक पेरेंट्स पे डिपेंडेंट रहते हैं till the age of 25-30 years.
So how good is it or how bad is it?
हाँ, so I'm coming down to that. बाहर क्या है कि they are totally independent. अब बाहर they are not able to take decisions also because पेरेंट्स का इन्वॉल्वमेंट ही नहीं है. उनको अपने साथ आइडेंटिटी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं बहुत सारी, बिकॉज वो समझ ही नहीं पा रहे हैं कि मैं इस दुनिया में हूँ कहाँ, क्योंकि फैमिली रूट्स मिसिंग है. सो दैट वे आवर इंडियन सिस्टम इज़ वेरी गुड. द फैमिली थिंग in India is the best thing to happen. But ओवर इंडल्जेंस इज बैड एनीवेयर. आई वुड से कि बच्चों को 18 के बाद छोड़ देना चाहिए कि वो डिसीजन लेने में उनकी आप मदद कर सकते हैं, लेकिन डिसीजन आप मत लो. सो वी कैन टेक अ हेल्प ऑफ अ काउंसलर, वी कैन गिव देम एक्सपोजर टू इन्फॉर्मेशन, वी कैन वॉक विद देम थ्रू डिफरेंट करियर पाथ्स. उनको एक्सपेरिमेंट करने का भी मौका देना चाहिए. बट टू टेल देम कि ओनली दिस इज़ द करियर फॉर यू या यही ठीक है, ये थोड़ा सा मुझे लगता है कि नहीं करना चाहिए. We should see what kind of intelligence child is having. And it's not about reading or writing alone. There can be a musical intelligence with the child, they can be kinesthetic, उसकी बॉडी बहुत एक्टिव हो, एथलीट बन सकता है. अब देखिए, आप सारी जो विमेन टीम थी अभी हमारी जो जीती है क्रिकेट टीम, अगर उन सारी लेडीज़ को हम ये कह देते कि आप जो है IIT जाओ या डॉक्टर बनो या घर में ही रहो और घर संभालो, तो क्या हमारे पास एक सक्सेसफुल विमेन क्रिकेट टीम होती? नहीं होती. बट फैक्ट, अगर आप हर एक की लाइफ में जाएंगे तो अगर मैंने 7-8 केस स्टडीज़ करी उन विमेन की, सो एवरीबडी हैड अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट चाइल्डहुड. दे पेरेंट्स वांटेड देम टू बिकम समथिंग और दे कुड नॉट इवन अफोर्ड सो मच कि वो ट्यूशन फीस भी भर पाएँ. सो कहीं ना कहीं उनकी डेस्टिनी ने उनको स्पोर्ट्स में ला के खड़ा कर दिया, बट उस स्पोर्ट्स में रहने के लिए भी उनके पास इनफ नहीं था. बट समहाउ दे परसिस्टेड. तो इंडिया में तो कोई भी करियर बनाना बहुत मुश्किल है. बाहर दे आर वेरी सपोर्टिव गवर्नमेंट. देयर इज अ सोशलिस्ट सोसाइटी, जर्मनी फॉर एग्जांपल, और US, दे हैव अ होल अकेडमीज डेडिकेटेड कि आप कुछ भी नहीं करेंगे, आपको ओलंपियन बनना है तो राइट फ्रॉम grade 6 टू योर ग्रेजुएशन दे हेल्प यू विद एवरीथिंग, द मील्स, द एजुकेशन इज़ गिवन फ्री. सो ये चीज़ें जो है मुझे लगता है इंडिया की गवर्नमेंट को करनी चाहिए और अकेडमीज़ बनानी चाहिए. विच एवर intelligence child has, we should have academies supported fully by the government, fully sponsored, 100% subsidized, और उन बच्चों को उन academies में place करना चाहिए so that they explore their talents, they develop their talents.
Finally, sir, what is one message you want to give to our educators and students who want to contribute to building a peaceful and sustainable world?
Okay. I believe this is our world. The world belongs to each and every one of us who is inhabiting this planet, be it educator, be it children, be it parents, be it grandparents. So we are living in this world, the world belongs to us. Similarly, we also belong to the world. That means just as we have got trees, we've got plants, and we've got the entire flora and fauna, the air that we breathe. So similarly, we are also existing as humans. So our consciousness is in aligned with the consciousness of this planet. So this planet is not a dead planet. Of all the 9 planets or 8 planets that we have, or the millions of planets we might have in this entire multiverse, this Earth is the only living planet that we know. And it has not just magnetic field or a gravitational field, it also has a field of consciousness. That means, suppose your heart, it said that the human heart is 5,000 times more powerful than the human brain. So ये तो ठीक है कि हमारा जो heart है, maybe it is more powerful, maybe it is 50,000 more powerful. So this circle of unconditional love is not limited to the body itself. In fact, just like the gravitational field, it has got, it expands up till infinity. Similarly, the circle of compassion of a human heart expands up to infinity. So each and every one of us, as a global citizen, as a citizen of this planet, needs to expand his consciousness, not just to himself or his family or his city or her state, her country, or her earth or planet as a whole. It has to be expanded to all the known existence. So once you expand this mindset and once you expand your consciousness, you will see everything is coming to you. And once everything is coming to you, you will feel, you'll feel the pulses of the entire universe within you, right? So this power of unconditional love, without any boundaries, without any conditions, once you are one with the frequency of this planet, with the frequency of this universe, you will feel that you are one with everything that you know, including the Supreme Being, one Supreme Intelligence. People call him or her God, or by different names, but let's call the supreme intelligence as one entity. So once you are one with that, there is no separation. There is no you and me. There is no this and that. You are one person who is, actually living in the world, and in fact, the entire world is living in you. So once you mirror that, then you feel that, whatever actions you are taking on a daily basis are just a reflection of what the world has destined for you. So destiny has placed enormous responsibility on you, on me, to take care of this planet in this lifetime, whatever limited lifetime we have, so that we give to our children, to our grandchildren, and the future generations a safer, a more just, a peaceful, united, prosperous, affluent, and a sustainable world which has got renewable sources of energy. So once we leave Earth in this format, I think we have done our job.
So we must take care of everything and everyone.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's true. Very well said. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing such profound insights with us.
Thank you.
And it was a pleasure having you, sir.
Thank you so much, Neha ji. It was my pleasure too.
So, to every parent listening, to every teacher working silently behind the scenes, and to every young mind dreaming of a future, remember, you matter. Your journey matters and your growth matters. This is Neha, and you were listening to Podcast 5 with Neha. And I hope today's episode stays with you for long after it ends. Let this conversation be the spark for a brighter future. Thank you.